Hello crafty friends, I'm Lean from Studio Kato and I'm so happy you're joining me again today for another video. Today is Casual Friday on a Thursday because I want the week to be over, to be honest. But also I was struggling to find a title for my video, which is getting increasingly hard as time goes on. But I am going to use this adorable stamp set by Colorado Craft Company, which is called Teacups and Mice, because it has teacups and mice, and I am going to stamp all 3 mice included in the set on some Clairefontaine DCP 250 GSM cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink. This is alcohol marker friendly ink, but as you know, I can't emboss with this. And so I am going to leave those stamps in my MISTI while I color these images with my alcohol markers, and then I can stamp them again later. I really love an embossed outline, and this extra step takes me maybe an extra minute, so it's not at all time wasted. I love embossed outlines, so it's totally worth it for me. You absolutely don't have to do it. Now you can't, however, emboss with or emboss before you color with your alcohol markers. So I want these mice to be very vibrant, which is why I chose to color them with alcohol markers. Those are still a little more vibrant than watercolors. But I also want those gorgeous large black eyes to be glossy, and you can do that with glossy accents, but it's just not the same as a nice embossed image. So the reason you can't emboss before you color with your alcohol markers is because the stuff that's in the markers will dissolve the embossed outline, and it will actually get up in the nib of your marker if you rub over it too much. So it can ruin your marker as well as the embossing. So there's just no point in doing it before you color. Take that little extra step, that little extra minute to just stamp it again if you have a stamping tool. Now I kept the coloring really simple, which is really easy to do because mice are gray. You can of course color these in super bright colors as well, which would be really fun actually. But color them in super bright colors and do a more plain background. I did the other way around, which is pretty basic of me, but I don't have the best selection of alcohol markers. I thought of coloring them in really bright colors, but I couldn't come up with color combinations I liked with my markers, so I just stuck to plain gray, and it worked out very cute in the end anyway. These mice, there is not much you can do wrong with them. They are so adorable. So once I'm done coloring, I can just put them back in that same corner of my MISTI. The stamps have stayed in place during that time, so I can just stamp them again in the exact same spot with Versafine Onyx Black, which is the blackest ink I know of. It stamps perfect every time. I have been using the same ink pad for forever, since I started card making, which is probably 5 years now. I have used this ink pad for 5 years on pretty much every single project I've made, and I have only just recently re-inked it for the first time, and it wasn't even that necessary, I feel like. But I got the re-inker and I couldn't stop myself. Now I am going to work on my background panels, and I'm making 3 of those. So I cut some watercolor cardstock down because the Distress Oxide inks work best on watercolor cardstock in my opinion to blend them out. So that's what I'm doing. You can see the ink names in the upper left corner here, and I'm just blending them on with some blending brushes, and I'm fading them out really pale towards the bottom of the panel. Now I will also die cut from these panels, so you can see me check my die cut and see if I have a nice blend from really dark to really light in that space of the die. Now this purple is the reason I made this card. Also the mice, obviously, but I haven't really had a chance to use the Villainous Potion, which is the only Distress Oxide color that I got from the newer releases. and I love it so much. I always struggle to find good purple art supplies. I know a lot of people do, but this is a really great purple in my opinion, and I just had to have it. Now, the other reason I used some watercolor cardstock is because I knew I was going to sprinkle on some water droplets to get some more interest in those backgrounds. Now I die cut those panels with the double stitched rectangles by My Favorite Things, and then I'm just propping those up on a mini slimline card base, and I am spacing them out so the outer margin is the same all the way around. So I messed up on the purple one, so I'm just peeling it back up with that foam tape, which is not easy, but it worked out. And I'm just making sure that on the left side of the purple panel, or on the right side, and on the top and the bottom is the same kind of spacing. And then just put the blue one, or the peacock feathers one, right in the middle of the purple and the green one. I could have also just cut my mini slimline card base a little bit shorter, so it would have been perfect spacing all the way around, but I really like the size the mini slimline comes in, so I figured why change it. I'm prepping the mice up on some foam tape as well, and then I'm adding a sentiment that I've prepared beforehand, which is what prepared means. But I made a bunch of these all at once. I am working on a video of mass producing sentiments like this because I personally always struggle adding sentiments to my cards, and it helps if I have some prepared already. So I just added that one on with Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. And I'm going to do the same with these Majestic Confetti sequins by Studio Caria. I'm just placing those around the mice. It took me a while to figure out the placement because usually I don't have 3 panels to work with on a card. It changed things, but also not. I just added them in groups of 3 mostly, all the way around the mice. And it just adds a really subtle touch of sparkle that just sparkles in the light, and I love these confetti by Studio Caria. Now I'm also going to make a mini slimline envelope to go with this, with my We Are Memory Keepers 123 punch board. Now, if you don't know how to fold mini slimline envelopes with your punch board, because surprise, surprise, a mini slimline size is not actually included on the chart at the side of the punch board. So there are calculators online that help you figure out how to cut your paper, where to score your paper to make any size envelope you want, or an envelope for any size card you want. So I always leave that linked in the description below, and I also always link my video on making matching envelopes for more general tips and tricks. Now for this envelope in particular, I figured I'd stamp one of the mice again, a little offset on the envelope, so it's hanging over the edge, which is a design I really love, especially on envelopes, and I'm stamping it in Villainous Potion as well. So stamping with Distress Oxide inks is a lot easier than stamping with Distress inks, and it always stamps perfectly. So this is the mouse on the envelope. I really love it. It's so, so cute. These Colorado Craft Company stamps by Pretty Little Lines, I think the designer is called, are just adorable. I bought so many things from that release, and I just love all of them. It's a collection that I can't wait to use over and over and over again. I really love the bright backgrounds for these gray mice, and I love to make mini slimline cards. I haven't made one in a while, I feel, because I have so many normal card bases prepared that it always feels weird to have to make one from a different size. And I don't want to bother most of the time. But sometimes a design just calls for a different size card, and I love that we can make those, especially with the We Are Memory Keepers 123 punch board, so you can always have an envelope to send them in. I hope you like this clean and simple mini slimline card design. I sure did, and I hope you liked the video as well. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.